11 minutinhos pra live, hein? Fala, Júnior Marcelo, salve, salve! Fitz, quando chega a Season 1, vamos descobrir agora, bicho. Vamos descobrir agora. Espero que seja anunciado aí nessa live dos devs. Vamos ver o que tem aí pra gente, hein? Coisa boa, espero coisa boa. Vamos entender melhor o que vai carregar, o que não vai carregar. Tá muito alto o som da live aqui do YouTube? Vou abaixar um pouquinho por enquanto. Fala, Maurício! Salve, boa tarde. Vamos acompanhar aqui, ó, 10 minutinhos, hein? E aí, se bobear, hoje mesmo. Hoje é quinta, né? Hoje mesmo eu já gravo aí um vídeo consolidando tudo que a gente pode esperar para a temporada 1. E aí depois vou começar a gravar vídeo de como é que a gente vai se preparar para a temporada 1. Qual o melhor estilo, qual o melhor farm, o que vai passar, o que não vai passar. Será que vai ter outro World Boss? Será? Deve. É, uma boa pergunta, hein? Uma boa pergunta. Imagina se eles colocarem um World Boss por temporada. Vai ficar uma rotação grande, mas legal. Mas e aí, o que vocês estão achando? Vocês já, vocês já chegaram no level 100? Já chegaram no conteúdo endgame? O que vocês têm feito aí no... Quando vocês entram no jogo, o que vocês têm feito? Tá upando os glifos ainda? Tomando monsterzão aqui pra manter o gás, né? Level 88 de mago. Pô, boa, já tá quase lá. Agora é só fazer Nightmare Dungeon. Vai upar rapidinho. Chegar no 100 aí. Pra tentar dar aquele sapeco lá na Lilith. Eu ainda tenho que fazer isso também. Fazer mais umas tentativas lá. Tá com mago de quê? De Blizzard? De gelo. Isso. Boa. Me diz aí, o que que vocês esperam saber aí pra eu, de repente, preparar um vídeo mais focado com as dúvidas da galera, né? O que que a galera quer saber? Qual é a dúvida que vocês têm ainda? Peguei um pouco de cada build pra montar essa. E ficou bom? Ficou legal? 5 minutinhos. Diógenes, você tá só no YouTube e no Twitch também. Tamo lá na Twitch também. Pode falar. Você prefere, você prefere a Twitch, Diógenes? Sim, tô gostando muito. Boa. É, no fim das contas é se divertir, né? Dá uma olhada em mais de uma build, ver o que faz sentido pra você. Eu, por exemplo, de Rogue, quando eu botei a botinha de gelo, no início eu achei meio estranho e tal. Eu falei, porra, tô achando melhor não usar. Mas depois fui me acostumando, vi uns upgrades que dava pra fazer e fui adaptando. Tô level 70 de necro, porém sem tempo de upar. Eu gosto de assistir você, a plataforma não importa. Porra, valeu, Diógenes. Sinceramente, eu acho que se eu pudesse, eu mandaria todo mundo pra Twitch. Eu acho mais legal, tem uma dinâmica mais interessante é, entre as pessoas, né? Mas aqui no YouTube, depois que eu atingir mil seguidores também, dá pra botar pessoal pra usar emote, mas aí tem que pagar. Eu não consigo botar uns emotes gratuitos que nem na Twitch. Se bem que na Twitch, a Twitch não liberou pra mim ainda pra eu botar também. Fala, Dani, chegamos, ó, 3 minutinhos, hein? É... Caraca, eu não consigo ver aqui quem deu follow, pera aí. Só um segundo que eu vou ter que carregar no celular. Cadê? Shelf, Shelf, tá certo? Maurício também. Valeu, Maurício. Tamo junto, time. Vou deixar aberto aqui, deixei no celular. Que geralmente eu deixo nessa tela que eu tô mostrando a live. Pô, e aí, mano? Vamos lá. O som tá bom aí? Eu vou. Porque eu quero deixar o áudio pra vocês pra poder entender também. E aí eu vou traduzindo. Mas eu vou. Caraca, deixa eu botar também uma legenda em português, né? Cadê? Ué, os caras não liberaram a legenda? Que é ao vivo, né? Ao vivo não tem. Mas eu vou traduzir, vou fazendo o meu melhor aqui pra ir traduzindo. Inglês é nós, né? Pô, vambora. O áudio tá beleza também. Putz, eu tinha que tirar os emotes pulando na tela aí. Ah não, nessa tela não tem, tá bom. Áudio tá top, beleza. Então tá bom. Você me avisa também quando começar a live, quando os caras começarem a falar que a gente vai sentir mesmo. Francão, boss do mundo está bugado ou não tem ninguém fazendo mesmo? Não, tem gente fazendo. Ontem eu fiz, tinha gente fazendo. Mas é porque assim, também acho que a recompensa lá do boss não tá valendo a pena, né? Caem uns itens que não são lá essas coisas. E acho que se você fizer um por semana já é o suficiente para pegar o baú extra lá. Que também nada demais. Então eles têm que ajustar isso um pouquinho. Pô, os caras deram um migué no contador aí, hein? O maluco foi cagar, porra. Não é possível. Foi dar aquela marcada na latrina. Será que Season nova vem esse mês ainda? Olha, tudo indica que sim. Eles já tinham indicado que era para ser a segunda semana desse mês, né? Então, semana que vem ou daqui a 2 semanas. Pronto. Pô, se eles começarem com Diablo Immortal, eu vou ficar puto.
Another Diablo developer update live stream. My name is Adam Fletcher. I am the community director for the Diablo franchise.
Community lead Adam Fletcher.
We just have Rod.
Yeah, well, I'm not part of the wonderful crew, I guess.
Yeah.
Rod Ferguson, pica da galáxia do Diablo.
What is the power? If you have power, you should use it whenever possible, and I've decided to. So
we have Rod here, who is, of course, the general manager of the Diablo
universe.
Universe.
Yeah.
General manager do Diablo.
Diablo.
Can't use the word franchise.
Todos os Diablos. Né?
Pierre's not here now.
Yeah, exactly. And of course, we have Chris Leal,
lead UX designer on Immortal.
and Ryan
Chris
Quinn.
Leal,
Senior narrative designer on Immortal.
do Diablo Immortal,
We
e
are
Ryan
actually
Quinn,
starting off
do
today's
Diablo
show
Immortal também.
with some Diablo Immortal conversations.
Porra, vai começar
Also,
com
I
Diablo
do wanna
Immortal.
mention
Óbvio.
we're
Vai
using
travar
nicknames
todo mundo aqui.
today.
Ooh.
We've been joking around, and I call them the Britney Spears mic.
Right.
Rod calls them the Janet Jackson mic.
Miss Jackson, if you're nasty.
Jackson. there
It's
you
because
go.
I'm older.
Rod, but is not wearing
I
one of
Estão
them.
falando do microfone que ele tá usando,
Doesn't take
que
a
ele
genius
chama
to
de
see the
Britney
size of
Spears
my
e o
head.
Rod
And the
Ferguson
ability
chama
to
de
put that
Janet
little wire
Jackson.
around this size of noggin is impossible. So therefore, I've passed.
Disappointing. But he does have.
Dá o feedback do áudio aí, se tá legal aí pra
I'm not doing it
vocês.
now.
Oh.
I am not doing it.
Okay, maybe we can get it out of him.
I'll knot my shirt later. It'll be good.
Maybe we can get it out of him during.
Tá em
Someone asked that question.
30%
in
mais ou
Twitch
menos.
chat. We'll make sure to bring that up during Q&A. And
Great.
there you go. You're just on the spot and you have to answer it. So
I think it's important that, like, last time you
Dá pra botar
clarified what
caption,
we were doing
não?
was the
Yeah.
campfire, which is more of a casual, we're just kind of giving updates. You know, we just want to be able to talk to the community.
yes.
This is more of a developer stream, so it's a bit more official.
Yes.
But one of the things we wanted to recognize too is that, like,
É porque é na
as a
Twitch, né?
family of-
Pô, será que não tem no
of games,
Facebook, não?
there's lots of cool stuff
No
happening
Facebook.
within in Diablo, and so we don't always want to just be focused on just D4. We want, anytime there's something big or really interesting happening within Diablo,
Yeah,
we
but-
want to be able to talk about it. You know, I could imagine we're going to have a season 29 conversation for Diablo 3 at some point in the future. And so one of the things we're going to look at, not just talk about, you know, we are definitely going to talk about season 1 on Diablo 4, and for some
Tá,
reason,
no
Adam
YouTube
has
também
structured
tá-
this to
não
be as
tá-
tantric as possible. We'll get there.
Tá available.
Trust us.
Então
But
vamos
it's
ficar
going
aqui
to take
mesmo.
a minute. So, but what we really want to look at as well is we want to talk about a little bit. We're going to talk a little bit about what's the preseason before we go into season 1. We're going to talk about what's going
Tá,
on with
vamos falar da
because we actually have some news
pre-season do
today.
Diablo 4, depois
I'm
falar da
teased
temporada.
doing that.
Tá um pouco baixo, vou aumentar aqui.
And then we want to talk a little bit about Diablo Immortal because something pretty incredible is happening in Diablo Immortal, which is in nearly a decade, we're having our first new Diablo character class is being revealed.
Ó.
And we wanted to reveal it.
Depois eles vão falar do Diablo Immortal e vai ter uma nova classe revelada no Diablo Immortal.
Blizzard is the SFD team, story and franchise, and Blizzard Video and everything that they do around cinematics. And we thought, how could we introduce a new character class without having a kick-ass video to go with it? So without further
Tem um
ado,
vídeo maneiro
to you, the
apresentando.
new Diablo character class coming to Diablo Immortal very, very soon.
Ó, já vai vídeo. Fica quieto aqui, porra.
The darkness has always been with us. And humanity is right to fear it.
Caralho.
darkness wants to consume you and all you love. But my kind
Blood Knight, que isso?
power
Coro!
and wield it in defiance.
Caralho, estuprou o maluco. Foda-se.
Humanity is right.
É o Hulk do Diablo.
Darkness. But I am a blood knight, and the darkness fears me.
Blood Knight. Coro. Só no tapa. Porra, animação fodona, né? Aí muda pro jogo. Personagem todo estranho.
And there we have
Mas
it.
maneiro.
The new class coming to Diablo and Diablo Immortal. It's the Blood Knight.
July 13th. That's
July
like
13th.
a little over a week away.
Exactly.
Sounds like there might have been some encoding issues.
Exactly. Yeah, I know that some people are talking about there's a little bit of hitching on it and so forth. I will say that we actually do have that trailer that will be on a blog on Diablo Immortal.
Tava meio travadinho. Não era live aqui,
So
tá?
people can
Era
actually
o...
check it out. It'll be on YouTube.
Era a
along with all
transmissão
the details
deles.
that we're about to talk about.
É, e eles vão liberar esse vídeo no YouTube, então
That's
quem
all.
quiser ver depois.
Obviously, first new class to the Diablo universe in nearly 10 years. I think there's a lot of questions.
Foi a primeira classe liberada em quase 10 anos. Uma nova classe liberada. Que acho que a última foi o Necromancer no
Yeah, sure. So
Diablo 3.
I think historically, when we released DI, we released it with these sort of 6 very, very familiar, very stalwart classes that all of us love, that many of us have been playing for decades. And it's great to kind of indulge in that nostalgia. It's great to get that dopamine.
É, quando eles liberaram Diablo Immortals no início, liberaram com aquelas 6 classes mais clássicas, né?
That felt really
E aí depois de um tempo acharam que tinha que fazer algo novo, diferente.
Class that's kind of monstrous, that does things that our other dark classes like the Necromancer and the Demon Hunter don't.
Uma classe mais sombria e tal que faz coisas que as outras não fazem.
The Blood Knight on everybody.
Nice, nice. Yeah, I know.
A cara do maluco mó
Obviously,
cracudo de...
everyone's kind of seeing
Meu
the
irmão,
Blood Knight and
tô
they're thinking, like,
empolgadaço
is
nessa
this like
porra.
vampiric in some sort of way, or like how does this fit in with the actual lore within Diablo?
Right. So the fine details are Blood Knights and vampires are intertwined. On Sanctuary, vampires are kind of like living plagues. They go from hunting ground to hunting ground. They kill people, they bite people, and sometimes people who they've bitten, they suffer this monstrous transformation. They start to devolve into what we call thralls, kind of like lesser vampiric beings, long teeth, hunger for blood, all that stuff. And a Blood Knight is a person who, through means of an ancient ritual, has that curse of thraldom arrested inside them, frozen essentially in place.
Tá, a história por trás aqui.
But they get some drawbacks too.
Os Blood Knights são bem parecidos com os vampiros e na história do Diablo, vampiros são essa raça que fica caçando pessoas, matando, mordendo.
Can smell blood from a mile away. Doesn't age anymore, as you've seen in the concept art, very, very fancy.
E o Blood Knight aí
On the flip side,
tem esse curse meio que dentro dele.
Blood red eyes, they have black veins in their face, makes people uncomfortable. And maybe
why.
Yeah, right. And sort of more pivotally than that, you know, deep inside their soul, there is an abomination, a monstrous darkness
Dentro deles
that
tem
hungers for violence. And in order to tamp that down, in order to slow their transformation,
na alma deles
they
tem
have to perform a ritual.
uma
That
abominação,
keepsake that you saw in our cinematic character's right hand, the little thing on the chain.
Oh, the chain, yeah.
Tá parecendo o Dante de Devil May Cry,
So
Like
like,
a link to their past.
yeah. It's got a memento within of the last place that they were kind of truly human.
Right.
And so every morning, noon, and night, they're doing ablutions with this thing to hopefully continue to keep the darkness at bay. But, you know, it's a process.
Right.
The ritual,
Me
it's
matou.
hearsay. You know, it's been passed down for hundreds of years. And for basically every Blood Knight, you know, it may fail at some point. All Blood Knights are doomed to one day succumb to their curse.
And they don't know if that's one day, 1 year, 1,000 years.
Could be
They don't know.
centuries,
Right, yeah.
right? They're very, very long-lived. What they do know and what they
Todo
play
Blood Knight está destinado a
all of the time they
se
have
fuder com
left
esse curse e
to
eventualmente
push back
virar esse
the
monstro ou virar
darkness.
vampiro.
And
Tudo que
ultimately,
eles
for them,
fazem é
since
tipo
that
meio
is
que
such an
tentar
important
expelir
part,
essa
it's really
darkness. Por isso
their
que
inner
acho
sense
que
of balance.
é o que
Can I
define o
do
Blood Knight.
enough good
Right.
to make up for the evil that will rise when I'm gone?
Yeah, I just wanted to give a shout out because we had the art up there earlier, and that art is gorgeous looking. At the same time, they're very pretty.
O cara,
I've been joking about it. I'm like, oh, look, they're so pretty.
o cara é irado. Esse cara fala mó empolgado, né? Tipo,
Well, it's funny because they're very like gorgeous here, and then they turn into the abomination, which is really funny to see. So it's like a complete like opposite.
arte maneira
I mean,
mesmo.
you mentioned the abomination. I think we saw.
Caralho, é
we saw
tipo
the
o
blood
osso
turn into
por
this creature,
fora da parada.
during that. So what
Que
is
só
what
pode
actually
ser,
is
né?
going on here? Like
Não é
this
uma
is
armadura.
I guess Chris will talk eventually about like how an abomination comes to me, but this is basically them tapping into what's inside them to change form.
Yeah, they're letting the curse off the leash just a little bit.
Ah,
It's going to grant
que
them
eles mudam de forma, tipo,
short-term
deixando o
pleasure.
curse tomar conta
Maybe
por
there's a little anime
tempinho.
teardrop there of like, do I come back from this?
Right. Okay. Got it.
Awesome. Well, I know with the Blood Knight, obviously, like, it's new class. How does it fit, Chris, into the like a gameplay style? Like, what if you're playing at Blood Knight? What can you expect the style to be as a person that's actually jumping into Diablo?
Yeah, so the Blood Knight is actually a melee hybrid class, meaning there's tons of up-close combat with polearms. However, they have a
Classe
host
melee
of shadow and
híbrida.
blood abilities they can use
Ah, o que é o híbrido?
manipulate
É
the
Shadow
battlefield
e
in their
Blood?
favor. I think the
Eu imagino que seja
drawback of
tipo
Blood Knights
um...
might be that players that start playing it might feel that their
Como é que era aquela
mobility
classe
is
do
limited.
WoW? Que
However,
era Blood,
they have tons of
Unholy
legendary
e
essences to
Frost.
help them improve the ability to close the gap on
Eu esqueci
enemies,
o nome.
as well as life-stealing abilities to help them sustain themselves in lengthy combat sequences.
Got it. So like in combat more often, close combat, so they're essentially taking more damage, but then they have abilities themselves to actually essentially
Acho maneiro.
drain as
Me amarro em
much
classe melee.
life from others, essentially replenish their life while they're in combat.
This, the kebab attack, as I like to call
Yes.
it.
Kebab, ataque do
My
kebab.
favorite thing right now. I was like, so what's happening there?
chama
We saw
ataque
it in
do
the trailer.
kebab.
We see it here as well, is where they're basically able to stab an enemy, smash it around like as if on the end of a hammer. So that's you're like, Chris is like, yeah, that's basically it.
Caralho, o monstrinho voou.
But it actually has a stun as well, right? It's not just the attack on the one thing that you skewered. It actually it has an area effect.
Yeah, so the Blood Knight stabs their polearm forward into the closest enemy, then swings overhead the enemy and slams it into the ground, stunning everyone in a small AoE. And there are also legendary essences that let you lunge forward or actually leap to perform the slam.
Pô, mas esse é o gráfico do Diablo Immortal no celular? Achei que fosse pouquinho melhor.
Of course, with every
Eu
class,
joguei, tipo,
a
meia hora
they
no
all
máximo.
have different ultimates depending on their primary attack skills and so forth. Like, what kind of two different ultimates can we expect with the Blood Knight?
Yeah, I could talk a bit about the primary attacks. The first is Ravage. They're basically swinging their polearm around
Coró.
combos. And right here is the ultimate, where they become a 5-hit combo with a stun at the end. And
Dual wielding polearms. That's I like.
And the other primary attack they have is called Shadow's Edge. It's quite a unique one. It's the first in Immortal where in melee range, the Blood Knight will do a slash, and for enemies that are further away, they'll actually throw the dagger forward. And there are legendary essences that add damage over time or make the dagger ricochet.
Nice. So you can
Tá,
essentially.
eles estão falando um pouco sobre os
It's
ataques
good room
e
clear type of abilities is what
as
I'm hearing.
habilidades do Blood
So if
Knight.
you got a ton of mobs in front of you, especially
Nada muito importante pra gente.
ricocheting and you mentioned piercing and so forth with the ultimate and everything, you can essentially clear out whole rooms with that. So it's awesome to hear. I know, as you mentioned beforehand, tons of legendary essences and everything that are associated to kind of modify skills. I know, and we're even seeing here, this is like the abomination that we were talking about.
Caralho, lá tem a
Why would I
capinha de
wanna become the
sangue.
abomination? What do I get from that?
Yeah, so I'll talk about the abomination a bit. The way it works is it is a transformative skill that requires defeating enemies to fill the bar, much like your ultimate.
Right.
However, it happens much more often.
Da hora a classe, é maneiro mesmo.
Turns your entire skill bar into,
Cara, como é que. Eu tô esquecendo, tá me lembrando daquela classe do WoW. Tipo, depois do Lich King lá, era o Dark.
The Blood Knight actually dashes forward in a ball of blood.
Meu Deus.
And then there's a 3-hit combo attack where if on the last hit they fly into the air and slam the ground.
Eu não sei que é Knight.
Stunning everyone. A lot of stuff.
Era DK.
Nice.
Dark Knight.
It's awesome to see. I
Acho que
think
é isso, Dark Knight, sei lá.
With
joguei
this
muito tempo
update
com
that's
essa
coming
classe.
out on
Muito
the
foda.
13th and the Blood Knight itself, and there are like even other components and that are kind of going to be coming with this actual update. Do you guys have any like additional information on?
Well, there's ways to play it, right? Like,
Yeah.
so the things that's really interesting, like I think having a new character class introduced on basically the anniversary of Diablo Immortal is really exciting. Like, it's
As habilidades dos personagens são bem maneiras. Pena que é um diálogo que eu não curto. É, eu joguei um pouquinho também. Eu até curti, mas minha filha tinha nascido, não consegui jogar, nem fudendo.
And so now I'm going to obviously, well, one of the great things about Immortal is that you can class change. So I can take my Paragon 500 Barbarian. I know that's not high. Thank you very much. I can take my Paragon 500 Barbarian and turn it into a Blood Knight. Yes. Because there's basically three ways. We have the player who's been playing for a year, like myself. We have the new player, and we have the test driver. Right, is the way to think about that. So maybe you can go through that.
Yeah, totally. So if you're brand new to Immortal and have never played before,
Diablo Immortal você pode
you can play
trocar.
Blood Knight right out of the gate, create a new character completely free.
Pode
and
trocar de
start with
personagem.
the main story complete with custom Blood Knight VO lines for all of the main quests. And for players like Rod who have been playing for a while and want to convert to this class,
Você obviamente pode criar um personagem do zero.
Major improvements to class change.
Então eles botaram agora que você pode.
I know it's a huge
Você pode trocar o seu personagem, sei lá, Paragon 500, Bárbaro Paragon 500 para a nova classe.
On a one day cooldown and also revert back infinitely. So if you decide you don't like playing the Blood Knight, you can revert the day of, or if you want to try it again tomorrow, you can go ahead and change back to the Blood Knight.
Nice, awesome.
And lastly, I want to talk about the Crimson Plane event. So for Immortal players that are familiar with Fractured Plane, there will be a special Crimson Plane event where there'll be.
So I think a lot maybe don't know what Fractured Plane. So maybe just what's the 5-second version of what is Fractured Plane?
So Fractured Plane is basically a roguelite inside of Immortal where you're able to try out all of the skills and abilities and build towards 15 levels of defeating enemies just to try out different skills.
You basically start with a fresh
Existe
class and
plano que você pode testar suas skills.
Specific build with very specific gear. But if I wanted to go play Fractured Planes, it says, "Oh, you're a barbarian. Here's some random skills. See how far you can get with this," and you build up your gear and
Acho que
stuff.
isso tinha no Diablo 3 também, se não me engano. Tipo, um negócio semanal lá que eles te davam uma classe específica com algumas skills e fala, se vira aí pra matar. E aí você tem a oportunidade de testar algumas coisas lá. Era legal até.
So you'll be able to try out different skills and legendary essences without actually committing to changing to the class. So just try it out, see if you like it, and if you do, there's always class change available.
Nice.
Nice, that's awesome to hear. So we have, and we have other things like I mentioned that are coming in this actual update. I know that for any new player that's coming in, of course they can create a Blood Knight, how we mentioned beforehand.
Porra, muito mais legal a customização de personagem do Diablo Immortal do que no Diablo 4.
Changes if they want, or they can create a new character if they would like to do it that way as well. But I know we have like a new legendary gem that's going to be coming in this actual update as well. And then we even have just other like items associated with this specific patch that'll be
a
hitting
full
as
set
well.
of legendaries for the Blood
Exactly.
Knight too.
Yeah, and we're actually going to be listing out every single legendary
The blog, yeah.
that is available for the Blood Knight on our blog immediately after the stream. So you guys can check out the cinematic trailer that we showed off for the Blood Knight earlier on that blog, and of course read all the details about what's coming in this update that is hitting on the 13th of July. So soon. It's crazy. So we do. We're super
O
stoked.
update, esse update com a nova classe sai 13 de
For
julho.
people who didn't get to see it in full
Semana que
frame rate,
vem.
they're basically rubbing their noses right now.
Essentially, like
Go watch it again, please.
see it in our the Blizzard Cinematics team. Amazing.
É, todos os
team.
updates de Diablo
Cinematics
têm
is
saído
great.
quinta-feira, né?
Nothing
É
like
isso?
seeing blood splattered all over.
Dia
some
13?
stained
É isso aí,
glass.
quinta-feira.
It's Diablo, so it makes perfect sense. It's great. But we are super stoked. So yeah, July 13th is when it's going to be coming out. And then of course, again, check DiabloImmortal.com immediately after the stream. We'll have a blog up there for people to check out all the
Yeah,
details.
congratulations, guys, on the
Yep.
year. It's been an amazing year for Immortal.
Beleza, agora
I think people
vai lá,
you
valeu.
tried it at launch and haven't gone back to take a look at it. Like basically every quarter we do major updates and really change the game. So the ability to
É,
craft set items, the
cada
ability
3 meses
to
eles estão
take
fazendo um
a look at
update, tá
legendaries,
legal.
turn that into a currency.
Eu acho que isso tá legal no Diablo Immortals mesmo. O time
Stronger
tá
and the way that
bem,
you do dungeons now, like
bem coeso, fazendo
tower,
update.
the clan play, like there's just so much else going on. So
Espero que isso
it's a free-to-play
continue pro
game. If
Diablo
you want to go check it
4.
out just to see all the changes, like I said, there's been in a year. It's complete. To me, it's a completely different game in the sense of
Dá pra ver a cara desse Chris Liao ali.
the content, which is
Ele tá
exciting.
tristão, ele queria estar trabalhando no Diablo 4,
The fact that you
certeza.
fully recorded all VO for the Blood Knight for the campaign, I think it'll be exciting to go back and start over.
Yeah, it's about 2,000 lines in total. We've got a pair of really, really awesome voice actors, Abby Trott and Ben Prendergast. Absolutely killed it as the Blood Knight. It's just pure haughtiness.
Ele já falou sobre o Diablo 4, já vai
bloodlust
falar.
and
Vamos
action.
falar ainda,
Really
Alexandre.
interesting takes on.
Vai ser agora.
I was gonna say the name of the villain.
Acabaram de fechar os updates do Diablo Immortal, vai ter uma nova classe, vai liberar
I don't think there's
dia
ever really
13,
a better time
semana
to
que vem.
reroll to start
E
a
agora
new
vão
chapter.
começar o Diablo, os updates do Diablo 4.
Congratulations.
Thanks so much,
thank you.
Rod. We're stoked.
And we're going to be now switching over to D4 content.
Woo!
We're going to take like a really short break because we got to swap people in. This
Porra,
room's
o maluco
so
vai
big.
mijar, mano.
And we also need mics off of people.
Não, mas vai entrar a galera do Diablo 4.
We're gonna be,
Rod Ferguson
swapping
deve
in,
continuar.
Into our
E vão entrar os outros dois do Diablo 4.
See you here in a minute or so.
Bora! Vai passar o trailer de novo agora? Sem bug do... Não, vai passar o trailer do Diablo 4. Ah, esse aí a gente já viu. Achei que era aquele que saiu no Instagram da escuridão tomando conta.
Today we fight true in his holy name.
É, esse trailer é foda demais. Esse tum, muito bom.
Blessed be the light.
Caralho, dá um arrepio. Mesmo depois de já ter visto 60 vezes, dá um arrepio. Muito foda, você é
And we're
louco.
back.
What happened to the
gonna be
awkward
my
hello?
intro.
You're supposed to
That's
go, hello.
That's gonna be my intro
I'm
for
technically
everything.
not back.
Wait.
Well, you are technically back. I mean, you were in other streams and other times.
Correct.
I'm not back. I'm new.
Oh yes,
Yes.
Tim is new. Tim also has the best voice in the world.
Yeah. Wow.
So
really nice.
Tim is just
Então
gonna.
vamos lá, esperar ele apresentar.
Wow, okay.
And-
I didn't prepare for that at all.
Surprise.
Maybe you should actually introduce people.
Yes,
Or...
I will introduce people. We are now joined by our wonderful Diablo 4 developers. We have Tim Ismay.
Eu acho maneiro que é mó descontraído, os caras dão uma pena.
Tim Ismay, I'm one of the lead producers on Diablo 4.
Tim
specifically
Ismay.
focused on seasons. I say that because if you ask me questions outside of the seasons context, I have no idea what's going on.
And you said plural.
Pro-
There's more than one.
Opa!
More than one season.
There is more than one season.
Produtor lead aí do Diablo 4, especializado em conteúdo de temporada, de season.
Wait, we're supposed to be.
Falou que ele não sabe nada de fora da season.
And we have.
Que é engraçado, né?
Joey P.
Yes.
E o
Joe
Joe P.
I'm the associate game director for the live service. And
Que eu já até fiz um vídeo que ele fala achava ao invés de achava.
Ah, but
Fiz
first.
um short lá.
But first.
but first, that's right.
Because Adam has built
can't-
everything possible to
we
talk
can't
about,
start-
except the season.
You can never start talking about seasons until we talk about something else first. But there are cool things to actually talk about.
Correct.
Tá, então vamos falar algumas coisas antes
Been a little over
de
a
falar de temporada. Tem outras coisas pra eles
It's
falar.
only been a month.
Is it? Well, if you include.
No, no,
like, early
no, but you're
access.
right. It is. Like, I always, the amount of feedback we get about, like, hey, this thing, and you're like, it's been.
É verdade, hoje faz um mês que lançou, exato. Nem tinha me tocado disso. Tirando o Early Access, né?
It has been a month, a little bit more than a month, since Diablo 4 has
Wait,
actually.
how did you
launched.
guys get a season done in 4 weeks? That's incredible.
We started it well before the game.
that's smart.
We actually released it.
Eles começaram. Estão brincando que começaram o conteúdo de temporada bem antes, né? De ter lançado o jogo.
Yeah,
Oh my
obviously,
God.
that's what it is. Okay.
Also, people are saying that your mic is low, Mr. Joey P.
My mic
Yeah,
is low.
so
Não, tá não, é brincadeira.
we'll fix that. I promise. Live broadcast, everyone.
I
Live
can
broadcast.
project everybody.
Yeah,
That's
he
what's
can-
going to
He
take.
can start screaming.
Just scream at everybody.
And you haven't seen
So I
Joey P
interrupted. So
scream.
you,
Sorry.
you're talking
Sorry,
about the 5 week. I was just shocked by the 5 week thing. But anyway, so yes, it's been 5
so
weeks.
obviously it's been 5 weeks since we launched. We've had numerous updates to the game, hot fixes, patches. We actually had a campfire chat in between, where we talked about even a big update that was coming before season
13
1.
page.
É,
Yes.
teve
13
updates, patches, teve o Campfire que eu perdi, não fiz aqui com a galera.
So I'm like, maybe it was.
Entre o lançamento do jogo e agora, né?
on the actual site. But we've addressed a lot of feedback and everything related to the game. We still have more feedback that we're actually going to be addressing. And I will say that later this afternoon there is going to be another patch.
Vai sair um patch hoje.
Spoilers or announcement. We will have patch 104. That's going to be hitting all platforms later this afternoon. There will
Patch
be,
104. Meu
notes
Deus, muita coisa hoje,
this
fudeu.
afternoon. Not as, very much not as chonky as 103, but it does address
Tá, menorzinho do que o anterior,
feedback
1.03.
and issues that people have been reporting over to us
you
in the
got
actual
one?
patch notes.
Provavelmente mais pra
Funny
corrigir
enough, I
problemas,
actually-
né?
did
Mais
I actually
bug
have this
fixes.
printed out?
I don't think you can say that 1.04 is coming this afternoon and not give an example of something we're fixing in 104.
I know that they are actually doing a gameplay fix in regards to, or a gameplay adjustment to Helltide chests, so that Helltide chests will now actually drop unique items.
O baú de Hell Chest agora vai ter chance de dropar único.
Not like a guarantee.
Vai ser um que-
And I'm just like,
Uma das coisas do patch de hoje.
That's
Deixa eu
okay,
já
that sounds
anotar
stupid
aqui.
for me as the GM to go like, I thought they already could drop uniques with Helltide chests, so I was mistaken there.
Yeah. It's so there are some content types that the rewards are not dropping like unique items from it. So like like Whisper bounty caches, for example, don't have a chance to drop unique items when you turn in for those.
Didn't know that either.
Yeah, but I think that there's opportunities for us to continue to like try to expose this more as we talk about these things moving forward. But yeah, this is an opportunity now. We want to make sure that when players are trying to target farm for certain kinds of uniques for their builds, they need to grab in order to bring those things online.
Yeah.
Those whisper caches really can be used as a way to or not
Use
whisper caches, the tortured gifts you can get from the Hell Tides events. Those are really good opportunities to go and try to.
Eles querem fazer com que, se você estiver focando no farm de um item específico, que você tenha essa chance. Então, o Helltide é muito bom para isso, porque você pode pegar uma bota e ir lá na bota, por exemplo, aquelas grevas penitentes do Rogue. Você pode tentar focar nisso numa Helltide.
Bugs, issues, or even just like general gameplay feedback, and it's something that the team has been reading through and getting through, and those are things that obviously we're addressing as we get through all these different updates in the future and everything.
We're building a big backlog. Like, this is the thing I was making the joke about. They started before, like, seasons started before we launched, just to try to set expectations. Like, we're moving as fast as we can, but we have to move also safely, because if we move too fast, we can kind of vibrate the game out of stability. And so we're trying to be as reactive as we can, but in a safe way, and knowing we have a large backlog of.
Tá, eles falou que tem muita coisa que eles têm que resolver, tipo um backlog de muitos itens para resolver e adicionar, mas tem que, óbvio, fazer os updates rápido o suficiente, mas sem quebrar o jogo, né? Tipo, os exemplos, já quero travar meu inventário. E eles estão ouvindo feedback, estão coletando feedback, e é verdade, né? Todos os updates que eles têm feito é baseado nas coisas que o pessoal está reclamando. Isso é muito bom. Reclamando, dando feedback.
We said the launch was the beginning, not the end, and so we're going to be continuing to support this game through many seasons and through expansions and what have you. And so please just allow us some time to catch up and work through our backlog to get to those items that we know that you care about.
And I do want to note that we're, as we were in preseason, we were obviously shooting out a lot of updates really quickly, and this is something we talked about a little bit on the campfire chat, but we are going to get into a more systematic way of being able to update the game, so it's not just going to be like...
Agora na pré-temporada eles estão mandando, tipo, patch aqui, patch ali, conserta aqui, mas conforme o jogo for progredindo, eles querem fazer mais algo mais regular, assim, né? Tipo, vai ser entre seasons ou dentro da season, sei lá, toda quinta-feira, alguma coisa assim. Tô dando exemplo aqui.
Yeah, I think it's really important that we have now talked about things we did in the preseason. We've made a number of changes on the balance side. We've responded to a lot of player feedback. We've got 1.04 coming out later on this afternoon. But Adam, what do the people want to hear about?
Zombies! So we're actually now going to talk about. No, but we do.
Estão brincando. O que a galera quer ouvir agora? Vamos lá.
Is coming, and we
Season
actually
1.
have a really cool trailer to show off before
O trailer da Season
we jump into it. So.
Deve ser aquele da escuridão tomando lá. Vamos ver. Não, é novo.
I am writing to you because although a great evil is receding from Sanctuary, a new festering curse now spreads its corruption across the land. More dangerous, more malignant than I could have imagined. I have found a way to stop this plague, to rip the dark power of these monsters from their very core and turn it to our advantage in destroying them. But I cannot do this alone. My allies have fallen. My strength is dwindling. The malignant are relentless and without mercy. I need help. I need you.
Tá. Maneiro. Era o carinha falando, tem uma praga se espalhando, apesar dos demônios estarem se afastando do santuário, tem uma nova praga surgindo. E os aliados dele estão morrendo, ele sabe como fazer, mas ele precisa de ajuda.
Lots to talk about there. So we're actually going to jump into it.
Matheus, que eu tenho enfrentado muito problema com estabilidade de servidores. Não tenho tido problemas de rede, mas o ping só vive nas alturas. Não vejo ninguém com esse problema, não. Tem certeza que não é no teu lado aí?
I guess Tim, Joe, like
Yeah, no, okay,
explain
so
to us what's going on now?
So season 1, the season of the Malignant. So our very, very first season in the game is going to basically take place in.
Peraí, ele deu um nome ali que eu não entendi.
Diablo 4. So after the the redacted and the redacted have happened and the player has finished redacting the redacted, once all that's out of the way, that's when things are really going to kick off in the world of Sanctuary. Kind of step off from that point. And there is a new threat that's basically emerged in Sanctuary.
Então tem uma nova ameaça que vai surgir. Esse mal, essa corrupção que vai começar a se espalhar. Desde bestas a humanos, demônios. Pode ser corrompido por esse mal, né?
It's changing them. Right, it's turning into these bloodthirsty fiends. Effectively, they're going out trying to destroy everything.
Alterando eles nesses
very high level.
Esses monstros com sede de sangue. Tem uma coisa parecida aí com Blood Knight lá, né? O maluquinho aí que estava falando no trailer.
Cormand is a member of the Cathedral of Light. He used to be a priest of the Cathedral of Light.
Membro da Catedral da Luz.
Trying to dive deeper into this new malignant threat that's risen over the course of these days following the events of Diablo 4's main campaign. But he's finding himself maybe a little out of his depth. You say, Tim? Like, what do you think about Cormand?
Yeah,
Parece que o cara tá tentando arrumar o problema, mas não tá conseguindo. Não tem os poderes para isso.
Really helpful in the past. Could I get a hand from you? So that's kind of where things start.
Yeah, he's very. I think that you'll find like he's a person. Everything in the room is on fire, but he's sitting there like, I can fix it. You know, we can find a way to solve this, right? But he's a great new character that the player get introduced over the course of the season. But that's really just where things kick off. No, and players start the season,
começa com isso, né? Introduzindo esse personagem.
In Kyovashad, and they're going to gain access to like the beginning of the story.
Vai começar em Kyovashad.
You know, so you're able to start off right at level 1. Like jumping out of the gate and be able to start like following the thread of this new season story.
E tem uma linha aí de quest, de história que você tem que fazer e você pode começar já desde o nível 1.
We're going to get through the season information first.
Yeah.
Se você quiser.
I know people are really curious about what happens to my current character, how do I think about that transition, but we'll get to that after we get through the season details.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. So that's the kind of the high level like.
Eles vão falar o que acontece com os personagens, essas coisas depois. Esse é o tema, né?
What about the mechanic? On top of the theme, there's usually the seasonal mechanics. So what's the mechanics that we're looking at?
We're trying to add more stuff to season.
Tá, então quais as mecânicas aqui novas?
So we are adding story, the elements of what you're going to find out about what is actually happening to Sanctuary.
Tá, tem a parte da história.
Challenges for the player, things that you can fight that maybe you haven't fought before, as well as new powers, things that you can.
Coisas novas que você pode matar, né, como jogador.
You did in any previous season, or in this case, in the preseason when you had just the Eternal Realm. So, hitting all of those notes, we're starting with a mechanic around the threat. So what is the threat? The Malignant. We've been talking about it a lot.
Tá.
Where is the Malignant actually?
Tem essa ameaça.
That actually shows up throughout the entire game. When you're playing in the world of Sanctuary, anytime you encounter any elite monster, there's a chance that it will spawn as a malignant version of them.
Toda vez que você encontra um elite, por exemplo, tem uma chance de você encontrar esse elite com essa praga. E tem ele é um pouquinho mais forte e vai cair esse item, né? Um coração maligno. Oh, vai começar um ritual. E aí uma versão mais difícil desse mob vai aparecer. E até os outros minions, tá vendo? Ficaram com um negócio azul. E aí se você matar esse cara, cai esse Caged Heart, que é um coração, sei lá. Enjaulado.
An enormous amount of power. Think of a legendary item, the kind of power that's in there. It's like that, maybe even a little bit more than that. So you can take these malignant hearts, you can socket them into your jewelry.
Maneiro,
that gives you these kind of stupid new broken builds that are hopefully balanced.
Ó, e aí legal, isso você pode soquetar isso nas suas gemas, tipo, soquetar no socket. Tem que ver como é que vai funcionar de novo. Você pode adicionar isso nas suas gemas e mudar a sua build. E aí ele falou que tá rezando para isso não quebrar o jogo. Mas pode mudar bem a sua build.
And that's what Malignant Hearts and the powers associated with Malignant Hearts really allow us to do. So one of these things, so yes, you can take a Malignant Heart that you've managed to collect from one of the consumed that you managed to kill.
Tá, você pega esse Malignant Heart, esse coração maligno aí, e você bota na sua gear, num socket aí. Provavelmente vai entrar no lugar de uma gema. Ah, tem tipos diferentes. Tem 32 tipos. Caralho, fudeu, isso vai mudar muito a build, meu Deus. Esse exemplo aí dá... Tem cargas elétricas.
But each of the malignant hearts you're collecting are actually like a category. They're associated with a color. So if like, brutal
tá,
hearts,
tem as cores que dizem as categorias do coraçãozinho lá. Tá igual no Diablo 3? Diablo 3 tem isso?
Of a matching color. So when you're hunting for when you're finding new amulets and rings or gambling at the Opal's vendor, whatever it is you want to do, you're kind of looking for specific socket colors.
Or if you're getting a unique ring from the new Helltide chest rewards as you're playing.
Dá pra você farmar cores específicas, que é o que você tá, de repente você vai procurar você quer procurar um vermelho, que de repente vai ter mais a ver com dano, o azul vai ser mais defensivo, alguma coisa assim. E aí você vai ver a cor do socket. Então, tem 3 cores, mas tem 4 tipos de coração. Tem que é muito, muito raro. E cabe em socket de qualquer cor. Você tá vendo que o anel ali é amarelo, tinha o outro anel azul. Caralho, foda. Tem as gemas que dropam de fendas maiores. É, exatamente. Pode ser tipo isso.
Unlock different builds potentially for classes, to Tim's point, and just basically be like a really fun, exciting new way for players to kind of inject new power into the experience.
But you're looking for so can the jeweler, when the jeweler right now can add a socket to...
Interagir também. É bem parecido mesmo. Só que aqui acho que tem um nível a mais até de complexidade / diversidade. Ah, peraí.
You couldn't get just a regular jewel socket.
But even a jeweler created one? Like if I have a ring with no socket, when I do the jeweler, it'll be colored?
It'll always be colored. Yeah, it'll always
tá, então,
be socket in this way.
Quando você soquetar um item, sempre vem com uma cor. Só que eu não entendi que se você escolhe a cor.
I could find a unique with the red socket, and I could find it with a yellow socket. So I'm looking for blue.
Ah, tá.
Multiple versions of the uniques
as well, right? Que pariu.
Yeah.
Então, se tem um único com socket, se você quer com socket azul, pode ser que ele venha com socket amarelo, pode ser que ele venha com socket vermelho. Então, pode ser que você tem que farmar mais. 300 mil horas de farm. Exato. Melhor comentário até agora. Fudeu, mano. Vamos morrer aqui. Thiago Motel, isso vai ser doideira, aleatório demais, Mas acho que vai ficar maneiro, porque não dá pra, faz essa build. Não, meu irmão, se vira agora. É mais ou menos ali que você tem que chegar. Mas você não vai conseguir o socket azul que a build tá sugerindo com aquele negócio. Você conseguiu o socket amarelo. E aí, o que você faz? Você vai procurar o melhor coração amarelo que você tem, entendeu?
A crafting material out of them that allows you to craft new items, including invokers. So invokers are something that you can use a little bit further on once you finish the campaign.
Tá, tem um negócio aí de invoker.
You will unlock the ability to go and use these at a specific place called a malignant tunnel. So if you
Tá, então vai ter um túnel maligno também, que é um lugar que você pode usar.
It's a serious thing when you're over 50. You should know that.
Você pode invocar alguma coisa lá, mas...
So in the world of Sanctuary, when we say malignant tunnel, we mean, hey, I'm a player and I actually want to get more.
Tá, eles estavam zoando outra coisa.
Random chance on elites out in the world. Where can I intentionally find more of them. There are these malignant tunnels.
Tá.
There are actually places across the world where the malignance is manifesting in these new dungeons. So if you specifically want to go find more malignant hearts, you can.
Tá, vão ter esses túneis que você pode ir
There are more malignant there. So there's a higher chance
e procurar esses esses elites que vão ter mais chance de ser maligno.
How do I make that even more likely? That's when you take your crafted invoker, you go all the way to the end of a malignant tunnel, and you can use it on a malignant outgrowth. When you use it on that outgrowth, it now spawns that.
Você vai ter esse item para invocar, aí você vai até o final desse túnel e invoca um tipo de maligno específico. De repente você vai conseguir summonar um tipo específico de bicho maligno.
Which I've heard called a turkey baster from hell, basically, is what an invoker looks like.
It does kind of, yes.
Se bobear vai ter como parelas. Quanto mais opções para as builds, melhor. Diversifica pra caralho. Se bobear vai ser tipo glifo. A Blizzard não perde a mania de implantar poderes emprestados. Já vi isso antes. Do Path of Exile? Ah, mas é isso, né? O jogo.
So it gives you those opportunities to go and like really target farm, as Tim's pointed out, like certain kinds of malignant hearts as the players progressing through the experience.
Tá, tem seu random, mas você pode targetar o seu farm, né? Aí é grindar, vai ficar dependendo da sua sorte. Tá, esse é o final do túnel aí, ó. Aí saiu esse Brutal Malignant. Tá bom. Aí você quer uma chance de um coração azul. Tá. Invocar o maligno. Aí você escolhe qual você quer, é isso? Ah, você escolheu, ó. Legal, aí ele virou azul e aí você vai ter que matar, beleza. Então é assim que você meio que foca o farm.
Try to capture heart to kill the harder thing?
When this thing pops up, after you kill this one, you don't actually have to capture it. You're fighting the powerful version of it like immediately.
That's what I was asking. Yeah, so you don't have to do the 1-2.
That's right.
So that's nice. So it's kind of a little like the sigil crafting, where you basically, I've got a bunch of stuff I'm not using right now.
Caralho, fudeu. Isso vai mudar como é que as pessoas upam. Vai que isso dá XP pra caralho. Vai mudar a build.
Blue malignants out there in the world. So now I can go into a malignant tunnel, fight my way to the end, have an opportunity to use the invoker to create a blue malignant to go after its heart. Yeah.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. Roger's called it out.
And I know.
That's all I'm here to do is summarize.
That's good.
He's like, I will take everything you said, summarize it into 2 sentences. And I know, like, obviously with the story and so forth, there
are
a new boss and so forth associated with it.
We're not really talking about the boss.
We're redacted, but yes.
It's worth calling out,
There's new boss monster for players to fight over the course of the season.
Vão ter novos chefes,
new legendary items for players to collect this season.
Novos lendários,
There's our legendary powers, I should say, for players to collect.
Novos aspectos, tipo, novos únicos.
The uniques. Thanks for that. Those are not just in the seasonal realm, though, right? Are those things that are also showing up in the eternal?
That's right. Those will also show up in the eternal realm.
Ah, e vão não vai ser só season, vai aparecer no Eterno também.
There's now a few new items for you to go try to hunt for and use to kind of augment and change your build.
This is the moment where I can do the producer thing.
Yeah.
So you probably saw before on the screen when we looked at the cinematic, it was awesome, and we said July 20th. Oh my God, there it is, the day it's coming out.
20 de julho?
Actually putting out the patch a little bit earlier. So just for awareness, so everyone knows, you're going to see your game patching on July 18th. That is.
Tá, o patch a atualização, o patch vai sair dia 18 e vai ligar dia 20.
Actually, anything that shows up on the Eternal Realm is there right away. If you just want to continue playing the game as normal on your existing characters or a new Eternal character if you want, July 18th, the new legendaries and uniques that they were just talking about will be available to.
Os novos únicos lendários já vão aparecer no Helm.
Rewards changes that we've made, those will be there right away on July 18th. July 20th, the season turns on.
No Helm Eterno, dia 18, mas na season só dia 20 quando começar a season.
I've been trying to be really clear about it with seasons is that it is not a continuation of the main campaign storyline. Like we've been using trying to use phrases like it's a new quest line. Working
Tá.
with Corman to solve the malignant is a big, is obviously the journey you're on, but it's not about the Anarius Lilith journey. It's not extended.
Tá, e só pra deixar claro que a Season 1, essa historinha aí desse cara aí, não é tipo uma continuação da história, como se fosse uma side quest, né? Uma quest line.
Just gives us it forces a lot of opportunities to tell an exciting story and create like these new big features that kind of go along with that.
Tipo, é uma história separada, totalmente diferente de Lilith e Darius e essas coisas.
To sort of track my accomplishments through the season. I don't know, maybe some sort of journey perhaps
you
would be really...
You want to track your seasonal journey through some kind of feature.
I don't know if I could tee that up any higher for you. We went from golf to
went from golf to t-ball really fast. No, absolutely. So this is obviously with season 1 where we're going to bring out the season journey feature, which I know we talked a little bit about on stream
Season
before,
journey
I guess
feature, tá, uma nova feature.
Maybe a little bit more clarity.
Hey, look, it's this. Not redacted all over right now.
No
top secret.
Printei.
So this is the battle pass introducing as part of season 1, and then going
Puta, perdi o print.
journey. And again,
Ah, mas eu tô gravando.
separate into
Tô gravando com a minha cara aqui, né?
you know,
Retardado.
and like these major chapters, and each of those chapters has a number of objectives inside each of them in order to allow you to progress that chapter.
Tá, cada capítulo tem um objetivo, estilo
Subset them in order to advance the
D3, só que você não precisa completar todos, pelo que eu entendi em outra live.
Objective to objective, you're going to be earning favor drops, which can be used to fuel your battle pass, which we'll talk about a little bit more in a minute. But you're also, for your chapter completion moments, you're getting big drops of that favor that's going to be used like an experience point value for your battle pass.
Tá.
But you're also going to be getting some like item rewards, and importantly, you're going to be
Vai ganhar item, vai
ones that you can't
liberar-
the Codex of Power through like dungeon completion, and also many of our new
vai liberar mais
aspects we're
coisas
adding
pro
into
Codex do
season
Poder que não vai ser liberado em dungeon.
that for your Codex of Power by going through the season journey. So it's a great way for you to introduce yourself to some of these new things as you're kind of playing through.
Yeah,
Tá.
I love this. Like one of the things that's hard about for people who know Diablo 3 and its sort of journey.
Hold on, wait.
Vai jogar de renegado na temporada? Muito provavelmente, Thiago.
I love this.
Acabei de mudar de build, já vou ter que fazer mudança de novo. Ah, mas se quiser jogar a temporada, vai ter que começar do zero mesmo.
I'll pick a stupid example. It's like maybe I hate sellers for some reason. I'm a seller.
Tô pensando em jogar de
And so
druida.
I know
Druida eu acho
I'm a
bem maneiro.
seller. Then the fact that I can advance chapter 1 to go to chapter 2 without ever doing what lurks below, I think that's great because that's like I find you get into situations. I have other games where they're like, you must do this thing that you really don't want to do in order to progress, and the fact that I don't have to do that here,
Tá.
that I can choose a subset of things to continue my progress, I think is really smart.
É, então você pode escolher mais ou menos o que você quer fazer, ao invés de ter que fazer tudo para completar os capítulos.
We really like letting players use our fields of hatred as opportunities to kind of like progress their characters inside of the season, but we don't, and we want to include that
Which is
in
the
the season
PvP
journey,
fields, yeah.
which is the PvP content.
É, por exemplo, o
But we
conteúdo
don't want to make
PVP.
that a requirement that you must
Então,
go
é,
through
você
this
não-
content in order to progress
Para
your
quem
character.
não gosta de PVP, você não precisa necessariamente ir lá e fazer o PVP, mas eles querem dar a oportunidade de quem gosta de PVP também poder fazer o PVP para completar essas coisas.
To players initially that you go to this battle pass screen, you click on the season journey button. Do I have to buy the battle pass to get this? No. Everyone has access to the season journey. This is a base feature
Tá.
that everybody is
Todo mundo tem
engaging with.
acesso ao
Actually,
Season
everybody has
Journey.
access to the battle pass too. You're engaging with, even if you never pay a cent, you are engaging with the battle pass.
Mesmo que você não pague, né?
In the seasonal realm.
Yes, in the
Rod has to always remind me, in the seasonal realm, this stuff exists. There is no season journey if you're not in the season. That's very important. It only exists there
Só no Helm
if you're not in the season.
de temporada, né? Óbvio.
So yeah, that's essentially the way the season journey works. Those final objectives, those final chapters are really tough to complete. You can get some like special like cosmetics, like special like title and things towards the end of that path. So we're excited.
Esses capítulos são, pelo que ele falou, em teoria, difíceis até de
So
completar.
we saw that the season journey
Mas tem
grants you a
título,
lot
tem...
of favor to go towards your battle pass, but you also earn favor just out in the world killing stuff. And
That's right. Anything that's like killing monsters, completing like whispers and dungeons and things like all of these things will be earning you favor as you kind of.
Aí você ganha esse favor.
Experience points as your chance to get-
E aí favor é o que progride aqui embaixo
played the campaign
para você ganhar os
for the
itenzinhos.
first time with the season, for example.
Right.
I'll be like, okay, I'm going to roll a seasonal character. I'm going to play the campaign. The fact that
Favores, né?
while I'm playing the campaign, I'm killing stuff and I'm still earning favor. Like this stuff is still sort of progressing.
Francisco
in the
Júnior,
background, right? And
títulos
that's
cosméticos, legal.
I won't run into any malignant until I finish the campaign.
Eu não sei se você tá brincando ou não, mas
make a new character to your point, Rob.
Dá uma mudada, né?
You're playing through the campaign, you will be earning favor as
Não tem muito o que eles oferecerem além disso.
But a lot of those, and you can also progress your season journey, but some of those objectives might require you to go and interact with season features that aren't available until after you finish the events of the Diablo 4 main campaign.
And that's probably one of the big things to be clear about.
Tem algumas coisas da temporada que requerem que você interaja com coisas depois que você termine a campanha, né? Eu gosto, acho maneiro. Não, eu também. Acho maneiro que dá uma diversificada.
Yeah, you won't fight malignant creatures, for example, while you're going through the campaign on the seasonal realm, but you will shortly thereafter. So one of the things you can do, and I know we're going to talk about this, and we keep saying we're going to talk about this, and then we talk about it anyway. But like, so I would say, like, you know, one of the things you can do to get ready for the season is to make sure you finish your campaign playthrough.
Tá. Então, obviamente, uma das coisas para você se preparar para a temporada é terminar a campanha. Esses monstros malignos e tal é coisa de temporada, não vai aparecer durante a campanha, pelo que ele falou.
For every season moving forward, for any character you create moving forward, you can skip campaign and start off in Kyovashad level 1 off. Well, and you know,
not always Kyovashad, but yes.
Is that the only thing that we can be doing to prepare
well,
for
we should
season
get to.
Cara, tá muito confuso agora o que eles estão falando.
Favor, so you have favor flowing because you're playing the game.
You're playing the game because you're doing your season journey objectives. You're getting even
and
more.
I was going to say you're getting more, and the favor is really flowing because I'm completing the season journey objectives. And so that favor.
Tá, esses favores que você vai ganhando pro Battle Pass, pro passe de batalha, tá? Fazendo tudo que você tem no mundo aí, evento, matando bicho, você vai ganhando esses favores. E travou. E travou o áudio. Ah, tá.
One of the reasons you would want to complete the battle pass is you could look like this. And by completing the battle pass in terms
falando sobre o valor do passe premium, perdi. Ainda não falando sobre o valor não.
And so did you want to talk a little bit about
I mean, so one of the things that's really cool about a lot of the items in the battle pass, there are these really exciting like armors to chase for the characters. There are like fun new emotes to go.
Tá, tem emotes. Tem skins de arma e armadura.
We have some things that are like these, and this is actually one of our free cosmetics actually, is this. The things are like a little bit lower fantasy that we can use to kind of like roleplay different kind of themes out for your characters, just give you more options.
Tá.
We have like our bigger stuff.
Caralho, level 89 de
Cold Iron stuff is like some of like the
Battle Pass, caralho.
chase armor cosmetics that exist at the end.
Pica, hein,
End of the battle pass.
Cara, muito maneiro.
One of the things that like if you notice the role-playing armor, like the artisan tunic or the helmet, is that one of the big things about
Premium Battle Pass required, ó. Esse é o premium.
All the cosmetics are class agnostic. So why we have a preview for all 5 classes, so you can see what it looks like on a barbarian, what it looks like.
Tá, tem um preview legal que não tinha antes. Você pode ver como é que vai ser aquele cosmético em cada classe.
Yeah, for those transmogs.
The exception is the transmog weapons. There are transmog weapons on there that are class specific, just because classes only can
tá.
use certain weapons.
A exceção são transmogs de arma, porque tem armas que são específicas para algumas classes.
But there are lots of free things on the Battle Pass. If you pay to upgrade it to the Premium Battle Pass, what you're gaining access to are a bunch of additional cosmetic things.
Yeah.
So the only thing you're getting access to by paying is that additional cosmetic unlock. So there's really, really cool stuff, some on the early end, and then especially on the tail end of it, that's what you're buying into. But the free version...
Tá.
Keep going. I'm getting ready to transition.
Okay. The free version
I know where I want to go after you.
Still has some very cool unlocks. And anything
Tá, versão grátis ainda tem coisas maneiras, mas obviamente tem a versão premium. Esses passes me lembram muito os passes do COD, quem já jogou sabe. E o que eu achava bem tranquilo o passe do COD. Tinha um monte de coisa paga lá, mas porra, dava pra você fazer tranquilamente com o gratuito. Na verdade, o passe do COD, você só precisava pagar uma vez, né? Se você conseguisse fazer tudo, você ganhava o dinheiro pro próximo. Tá, mas vamos prestar atenção aqui, ó. Isso aqui é importante. Você vai ganhar esse Season Blessing, sei lá, esqueci como é que é Blessing em português. Benção, essa benção. Conforme você progride, né? Isso acho que é só no Premium.
I'm assuming that, I don't know if it's linear or not, but if I would assume it was linear, I can do it 4 times at 15%, so like 60% duration.
E aí você pode escolher onde você quer gastar os seus suas cinzas para ganhar essa benção. Então você pode gastar sua cinza para ganhar mais XP, e aí é que o pessoal tá reclamando um pouquinho que é pay to win.
So if I were to max out with my Smoldering Ashes, there like Earn a Prolonging is where I want to invest my Smoldering Ashes. I can basically take my 30-minute elixir and make it almost a 50-minute elixir. So getting that 5% XP boost, maybe for me it's the extra 200.
Tá, duração de elixir é bem legal.
Okay, that's really cool.
Vão ser os primeiros, né? Provavelmente esse primeiro daqui e o quarto ali que vai dar um boost de XP. O primeiro dá o boost de XP, o segundo dá o boost da duração de elixir. O quarto dá o boost da duração de elixir.
Free Smoldering Ashes, it doesn't actually unlock until you get to the level requirement.
Yeah, for example, like the first ash that you unlock in the battle pass is, I think it's tier 8 maybe.
Tier 8,
yeah. And it has a level 40 character requirement as an example.
No level 8 você libera uma cinza. Acho que essa cinza é até de graça, mas para você usar você tem que estar level 40.
Yeah.
Okay, so I kind of do my little summary thing. So basically, what we said, so we have a seasonal theme of the Malignant, which has the mechanic of capturing Malignant hearts and putting it into jewelry.
Se a Season Blast não for para todos, virou pay to win.
Our season journey is rewarding us favor. Our favor.
Pelo que eu entendi, tem no passe de batalha de graça.
But also based on our level and our tier in the battle pass, we'll get Smoldering Ashes. We can use those Smoldering Ashes to apply a Season's Blessing, which allows us to use those urns and get sort of perks for during just this season that we've unlocked.
That's correct.
Tá, belo resumo. Abre esse ribeiro, mas se a Blessing for só pagando, pay to win. Não, acho que não é só pagando não. Vão ter nos dois.
Battle pass. So this is kind of an increase in power for everybody. And then if you want to spend money, just reinforcing that, that's unlocking more cosmetics. And don't get me wrong, like they're amazing cosmetics. I am planning to pay to unlock them myself. But there's no power that comes from them. They are transmogs. They're not actual items. It's just a transmog.
Se você pagar,
armor to look cool.
Eles não estão falando especificamente do Smoldering Ash, mas está parecendo que quando você paga, você ganha só transmog. Você libera só transmog. Tá, todos os paid items, todos os itens pagos do Battle Pass que vão ser liberados é cosmético. Então parece que o Smoldering Ash é para todo mundo.
So then let's talk a little bit about the transitional side of it in terms of how I go into this or what happens. So
ia dar zica, mano, se eles não fazem isso.
One is like there's a need. So there's a question. I guess we should talk about renown. Like one of the big things that we hear the most.
Renown. Vambora. Fala aí.
I spent a lot of time, and I know I did too. I completed all my renown objectives. I've got full everything. And now I hear, oh, I have to re-roll my character in season. Do I have to go find all the altars of Lilith? Do I have to go all clear the fog of war again?
Yeah, so I know we've talked about this in stream before, but definitely bears repeating. So like when season 1 goes live, players are going to be able to go basically carry over like all of the fog of war that they've cleared. So everything, all the world they've.
Ó, vai carregar o fog of war.
Like the fractured peaks and Scotsland and such. All of that's going to carry over.
Vai estar tudo, o mapa vai estar liberado. E os pontos que você ganhou disso.
Basically, where we see areas discovered.
Yeah.
Let's say I've actually. Okay, we'll say this is this person.
Yeah.
So right now they've got 30 areas discovered, which is worth 150 renown.
Tá, o exemplo é agora você tem isso aqui. Beleza. Você tem 30 áreas descobertas de 54 em que gestão. E já tem.
Absolutely right. Yep, absolutely right. So you're going to have that, and you're also going to have already collected all of your altars of Lilith that you've got from your.
Tá, e também carrega os altares da Lilith.
I will have 12 will be appearing on my map immediately, and I will have 120 renown in the bank with my other 100. So I'll have 270 renown already earned, waiting for me to claim when I fire up the.
Então porque você tinha 30 mapas parte de mapa descoberto, cada um dá 5, você vai ter 150 de renomes, nesse caso aqui, e porque você tinha 10 altares da Lilith, e você tinha 2 altares da Lilith, cada um vale 10, você já vai ter 120, nesse exemplo.
at level 1 on day 1 of the new season with a brand new character. You'll start, and you've done all of this work with your previous characters and previous playthroughs. You'll have 5 skill points to play with, and then 5 extra potion charges. So you'll be at sitting at 9 potion charges.
At level 1, you'll have 5 skill points and 9 potions ready to go.
Absolutely. You just claim those things down. You're good to go for the season.
And your map reveal.
And your map reveal. So that goes back to what Tim was teeing up earlier. When we think about, hey, I'm excited about the season, I want to prepare for it.
Pelo que eu entendi, muito provavelmente se você já liberou, você vai conseguir chegar ali no segundo, vai ter as poções.
14
I have
days.
2 weeks. What should I be doing in these next 2 weeks? And so one was, I better get the campaign done.
E o mapa liberado. Isso é muito bom.
But now, like, if you had places to go to, like, dig deep on clearing the fog and dig deep on finding the altars, because those are going to carry.
Então, se tem alguma coisa para você fazer agora, faz o altar da Lilith e libera o mapa.
How do I think about? I've got 5, 6 alts, you know, my characters right now in the Eternal Realm. We're talking about carrying over progress based on your. How do I ensure that the progress, like the most progress character, it actually impacts my seasonal character? Like,
Tim, tell us.
It's a great question. For various technical implementation reasons, we do actually need you to log in on existing characters to kind of self-migrate some of your data with this. So this is something that we implemented based on player feedback that we got. So we put it in as quickly as we could.
Vou explicar já já.
Season 1, but what we need you to do, once Season 1 comes out, actually once the patch comes out, you don't even have to wait until July 20th. You can do
Então,
this
quando o patch sair, dia 18, você vai ter que logar com um personagem.
With characters that have the most progress. If you have a single character,
Loga com o personagem que tem o maior progresso. Que por razões técnicas eles estão pedindo isso para você poder fazer a migração.
Is going to be propagated across your entire account. It'll be saved as, hey, this is just unlocked for your whole account now. At that point, any character you log on, either one of your existing alts or any new character you make in seasons will now have.
Quero ver se vai dar merda se você sem querer logar com um alt que não tem nada.
And just to reinforce, the experience you're going to have if you have unlocked all of these things, it takes a little bit of work, but if you've unlocked all of that, when you start that new seasonal character, wow, is that a lot of power. You are going to level pretty fast, because extra 5 skill points, extra 5 potions, you are ridiculously overpowered when you first start playing. That is a lot.
Só para lembrar que se você liberar tudo isso no início da temporada, você vai se sentir muito forte, porque, porra, você tem skill, você tem poção, você tem todos os status da Lilith.
Would that come out for the patch on the 18th? Just to remind people that yes, log into your characters beforehand. Even if you log in, like if you jump into the season later on, you can log into those characters with the most amount of progress.
Well, that's that's the 2 things we should, because there'll probably be questions. But one is, I don't do that for whatever. I go on vacation.
Tá, se eu não fizer isso, o que é que acontece? Boa pergunta. Boa pergunta, Rod.
Brought to the season, yes. Even after the season started. So it's not like, oh, you only have 18 to 20 to get it those 2 days.
It's there forever. Functionally, from this
Vitor Augusto vai ter que abrir tudo de novo. As dungeons e waypoints, sim, e stronghold.
Any progress that's not already credited on your account. Cool, I'm now crediting it to your account.
Right. And so for,
tá, se você pode logar de novo e eles vão transferir depois que a season começar.
Not humble bragging. That's a point of fact.
Humble bragging.
Not humble bragging.
So for the next 5 minutes, we're going to talk about
so
this.
Let's talk about how good my necromancer is. No, but all I'm saying is I have a Sork that has not had the same level of progress in the world. So after the 18th, when I log in my necro, and all that progress gets put to my account. When I go to log in my Sork next, even on the Eternal Realm, my Sork will now have all the progress that my Necro
Correct.
has.
Absolutely.
That's exactly right.
Yeah. And let's say, like, you know, just to dive really deep into this. So let's say that you've got,
I know,
you've got 2 different characters.
We should do some sort of dev stream where we can talk and go deep.
Vai ter como migrar o que vai ter de gente se ferrando. Não, vai tá bem tranquilo. Vou explicar.
You get another character who's gotten everything in Scott's Glen, who's unlocked like all the field, the Fog of War, has found all the altars Lilith. If I log in on my Fractured Peaks character, and just by doing that, all of that credit will now be transferred to my Scott's Glen character. When I log into my Scott's Glen character, all of that credit will be applied to my Fractured Peaks characters. At that point, all of the credit of the progress I made on either of those characters has been propagated to the entirety of my account.
Right. So it becomes an and.
It's not just like it's and. It's not like the one account that has the most stuff, and then I want to log into that one. No, you want to log into every account that might have like tons of progress if they've made in different directions. Right.
And I think that just again,
Tá.
let's talk about managing
Meio confuso.
some of you might be saying like, wow, that sounds a little clunky. And I think the point that Tim was trying to make was, hey,
Vou explicar já. Tô só esperando
that you wouldn't have any renown progress carryover. You would have to go find the altars.
se eles vão falar algo mais
You would have to go
importante.
clear the fog of war. Like the original plan when launching the game, or prior to launching the game, the original plan that there was no transition of state from Eternal Realm to Seasonal Realm as part of this. And so hearing the player feedback as we talked about seasons and hearing the response that we got about what, I have to find all the altars again, what, I have to clear the map again, and wanting to make sure that we were listening to the players, we put in a system that allowed us to do that, but
Tá, é uma gambiarra que eles fizeram porque eles não tinham se preparado para isso. Obviamente essa não era a ideia inicial que eles tinham, mas ouvindo o feedback dos players, o que o Joe tá falando é, vocês queriam isso feito? Então é assim que tem que fazer, porque isso não era o planejado. É justo. Tipo, os caras tiveram, sei lá, menos de um mês para fazer isso. Foda pra caralho, na real. Mas tá, é isso. No dia 18, não precisa ser necessariamente no dia 18, mas no dia 18 você loga com seu personagem que tem maior progresso, ou loga com múltiplos personagens que tem vários progressos separados para juntar eles. E aí no dia 20, quando você logar quando você criar o seu personagem de season, vai ser carregado. Se por algum motivo você não... o cara só tá falando que se soubesse isso antes teria feito diferente. Mas se por algum motivo você não fez isso antes do dia 20, e aí no dia 20 você vai e cria o seu personagem novo de season, não vai ter nada. Então você vai ter que voltar no personagem da non-season, só abrir o personagem e já vai transferir, vai carregar. Aí você volta de novo no personagem da season. Pelo menos é isso que eu entendi até agora.
We want to make sure that we are making the right changes as quickly as we can for the community. Some of those things are a lot harder than others. But like all the feedback, like Adam, you called out some things really early on at the program, like, you know, we're hearing feedback about, you know, this and this, like, you know, inventory space. We talked about gems last time.
Estão ouvindo feedback, gems, espaço de inventário. Alguns são tecnicamente mais fáceis, mais difíceis de fazer do que outros, mas eles estão ouvindo e estão tentando fazer. Sem, obviamente, destruir o jogo, né? Porque, porra, óbvio.
Know that we're working hard. We care deeply. We love our engineers and our designers and our producers, and the staff's been helping with like all of, like the hotfix and everything else. We are trying to make sure that we are delivering a really, really high quality experience to players on a regular basis. So just stick with us. Keep giving us that feedback.
E os baús?
As we go between seasons and other updates.
I can attest that whenever Joe would like to make a change based on feedback he's seen.
Achei que teria mais slots no passe de batalha. Então eles estão falando que eles estão falando que tem coisas que são mais fáceis de fazer do que outras. Justamente, de repente fazer o mais espaço de inventário não é possível, né, agora. E eles tinham que fazer outras coisas, tinham que fazer essa transferência do passe do renown para o passe de batalha. Então isso é muito mais importante. Tem que entender que os caras têm prioridade aí, é um limite de coisas que eles podem fazer.
That's one of the things that, like, when you look at
da hora os caras ouvindo a gente tentando atender nossos pedidos sem destruir o game. É isso. 4 árvores para conta é de fuder.
You know, we have some heroic engineers who can turn stuff around very quickly, but we also have some heroic QA teams around the world who are helping us make sure that when we make these changes, we're doing it in a safe way. So, but I appreciate your patience on that. And so this is exciting. Season 1, Season of the Malignant?
Yes. It's finally here.
Yes. Season of Malignant. Vamos ver como é que vai ser em português. Season da maldição.
As Tim had mentioned, we will have a patch on the 18th
for
Diablo
tradução
4
exata.
that will contain all the changes that will be coming in with Season 1.
Yep.
If Tiffany Watt were here, who was on our campfire chat before,
yep,
she categorized our 103
Maligno, a temporada do
I
Maligno.
will categorize in Tiffany Watt's words as super chonky for season 1. It actually is our largest.
Se fosse assim de mudar,
Chonkster, as Tim called it.
muita coisa ia quebrar o jogo.
Chonkers. So we're gonna pull up
Temporada do Malvadão.
the history of Chonkers, but yeah, it is very big. So we will have notes up for that, and again, players can prepare for season 1 by completing the campaign for sure,
campaign,
and making sure clear fog of war, discover the map, and of course get all your altars. So lots to come for Diablo 4, and then again we also have just more improvements that will be in that patch. What class our balance changes to bug fixes to you name it. I can go on. There's even some reward changes coming for some Nightmare and Helltide related activities as well, some endgame activities, because I've been hearing some feedback regarding like, hey, it would be great if we can get like maybe better rewards with some of these activities, and so I know some of those changes are coming in that actual update as well. But I know we
Tô ouvindo feedback de recompensas do final, de coisas que a gente pode fazer no endgame, e agora vai ter um Q&A. Vai ter pergunta do pessoal, sei lá, Twitter ou alguma coisa assim.
We're actually going to kick off Rod because we're done with him. No, I'm just kidding. Rod is actually just
going to go and annoy you from the side.
I know. It's the worst. Rod's going to jump over here. We're actually going to bring back in Chris and Ryan from the Immortal team. Who will be jumping in here.
I think you're supposed to open that chair. I didn't do my job. I didn't do my job.
Rod had one job and failed to do it.
I failed to open the chair.
So we're going to bring these guys in. I know we have questions queued up from...
Caralho, o maluco é o necromante. Ele é mais magro que o necromante.
Of course. Feel free to drop in questions and everything.
Chris is not quite in. You need to switch clearly.
Oh, I need to scooch too, because I think I'm
I think we scooch a little bit more.
Okay. We're scooching.
É isso, ao vivo. Chega todo, dança das cadeiras mesmo. Vambora, cabe todo mundo aí. Chega pra trás também, sem derrubar as velas, por favor. Obrigado. O cenário é importante.
Our production group behind here, because I literally go like, oh, we're only going to have like 2 people, and then we continue to add people, and then Rod wanted to be in it yesterday. So now suddenly we're up to like 20 people, and this room can't hold this many people, so I apologize. They are angels, and they deal with me. But we do have some questions, and I will be kind of going back and forth in between both of them, but we do... Oh, perfect. We do have some questions up here.
Any update? Algum update em termos de respecar o personagem? De repente, você poder trocar o respec, ou de repente até resetar o Paragon. Um botão para resetar o Paragon seria ótimo. Tá. Tem o custo. E a experiência de você fazer esse respec, especialmente no Paragon.
Longer term plans on the user experience side, like on the menu side, things we want to do to improve the flow.
Tá, tem planos de longo termo que eles têm aí para adicionar em futuras seasons, provavelmente vai ter relacionado aí.
Fundamental structural changes today at this time, but we are, because we're satisfied with where things feel like in the 150. One thing we will be adding, though, is as part of seasons, there is now a new reward that you can collect as you're going through the season journey.
Não vai ter nenhuma mudança imediata nisso, mas vai ter um scroll da amnésia que você pode dropar na temporada e vai resetar o personagem inteiro, sem custo.
And that scroll of amnesia is everything. It's all your skills, all your paragon, everything goes to zero. Yeah.
Awesome. For Immortal, we have a question from, I'm reading everyone's.
Até a cueca limpa.
West. How much will the Blood Knight cost? I know we covered this early on, but if you guys want to reiterate.
Tá, agora do Diablo Morto.
The Blood Knight is free.
It's free. So if you're a new Immortal player, or you're
cara, esse cara é muito...
Immortal player, you can
eu estou tão orgulhoso do Blood Knight.
The Blood Knight on day 1, which is on July 13th. So, and of course, you can play through the campaign, and we had mentioned that it has essentially custom VO and everything associated with it.
That's right.
For D4. I should be more prepared with these.
That's usually that's a safe statement all the time. Is you should be more
we
prepared.
have Rod judging me off screen right here, and I'm just like, awesome.
Perfect.
Little side story real quick. So we have a thing in design called design armor, where like as you're about to like talk about an idea with someone, you're like, this might be a really bad idea, but that's you putting up your shield saying this.
Caralho, a cabeça do Joe tá
We're talking about anyway.
perfeitamente encaixada nas asas do Inarius ali, tá maneiro.
Question from
Virou
Fig Lorna.
Joe Medusa.
Committed to saying the names.
I know I did.
We don't want anyone to suggest that these are not good questions.
Yeah, from Fig Lorna, will seasonal mechanics be added to the Eternal Realm after the season ends?
As mecânicas de temporada vão ser adicionadas no Eterno depois que acaba?
Like, hey, this is awesome. Are we going to keep it around forever? Initially,
Acho que não.
Like, initially, the version
Não,
of the
inicialmente não.
mechanics that you're seeing are not planned to show up in the Eternal Realm. However, we are reserving the right as developers that if we see something cool and we think, wow, this is just fantastic, this should just be part of the game, that we will just make it part of the game.
Mas eles estão dizendo que de repente se eles acharem, pô, essa mecânica é foda, eles estão se reservando ao direito de colocar isso depois se eles acharem interessante. Mas a princípio não é pra gente esperar que nada seja reaproveitado no Eternal Realm.
Intentionally using those update opportunities to create content for the base game, like
faz
stuff
sentido,
that persists beyond the
Acho que a ideia é justamente criar conteúdo novo na temporada, fazer a galera. Tudo bem, se tiver alguma coisa legal para aproveitar depois.
We can't add something exciting like that every season if it's expected to all last, because the game's going to be a complete mess.
Não dá para adicionar sempre alguma coisa e esperar que isso vá pro Eternal Realm, senão o Eternal Realm vai ser uma a paçoca de coisas aleatórias.
We know that there's opportunities to extend things like add more endgame features. We know that there's more content that we want to add to the game in general that like everybody's going to need forever.
Porra, tô curtindo muito. Os caras estão bem avançados no pensamento, óbvio. Tem que ser. E é natural que o jogo fique muito denso, com muita coisa depois. É difícil para novos jogadores, né? Você não quer fuder os caras. Um cara que quer começar na 5ª temporada. Porra, se tiver tudo que já teve nas outras temporadas, fica muito confuso.
Except of the same class. I just love playing Barbarian, and I have 3 different Barbarians already on Eternal because it's the perfect class.
Player, and all you play is rogues, and all you do is build rogues.
There might be a lot of those too. But let's say a Barbarian, that's my hypothetical, I'm sticking with it. So
aprendam com o WoW. Qual parte exatamente, Francisco?
Season 1 is still an exciting time to make a new Barbarian because we have all of these new Malignant powers that allow you to make radically new builds that are completely different from Barbarians you played in the past. Your endgame is going to be very different. So that excitement goes away if we just say like, oh, all of these powers just exist in the game forever. The whole idea is that no, every season is a fresh new experience that gives you builds that did not exist.
Eu acho que fazendo isso tem uma chance de, tipo, o endgame dessa temporada é uma merda. Tipo, porra, chega lá, não tem nada, é chato.
Joe, maybe speak to the fact that everybody starts at the same place of the season is one of the benefits, so that people aren't like a year behind when they go to play season 4.
Yeah, that's an important part of this as well. One of the reasons we really like the idea of letting players start back fresh and have like a
Anunciar o mascote para pegar nossos itens do chão. Oh, seria maneiro, hein, pegar o Gold.
Is really engaging and exciting.
Augusto Baldanza, obrigado pelo follow.
Like in the first session, for example, like you're getting exposed to like the new features and content available that we're introducing in that season. Everything feels like it's balanced in such a way that players can really enjoy the new things that we're adding in the way that they're kind of intelligently mixed with the rest of the features in the game itself.
Eu perdi um pouquinho, mas acho que ele está falando da experiência de alguém que vai jogar a Season 4, um ano depois da Season 1, e vai sentir que o jogo tem sua fluidez independente do conteúdo das outras temporadas. Aprenderam, muito conteúdo acumulado, muito hard para novos players. O WoW tem muitas currencies. O WoW melhorou muito depois de um tempo. Tipo, tinha muitas currencies, muitas moedas, aí depois eles juntaram algumas coisas, tipo de PVP, moeda de região.
The thing that we're talking about is that
Salve, salve, Augusto.
The game's
Tranquilidade?
service, the game's going to live for years. We want somebody who buys the game a year from now to not feel like they're a year behind.
É.
when it comes to- So one of the benefits of seasons is
Justamente o que o Rod tá falando é que eles querem que o cara daqui a um ano compre o jogo e não sinta que ele tá um ano atrasado mesmo. Ele pode começar dali e ser tão competitivo e ter tanta diversão quanto alguém que já tá jogando há um ano.
Yeah, that's actually, I could have put it better myself. That serves as a really, really good opportunity for
A
us
parada
to
do WoW é que ele
have a
funciona
starting point together.
pra te manter o
When
maior
you want
tempo
to
dentro do
play
game.
the game
Espero que o
experience.
Diablo
If
não
you take
faça
like a
isso.
season or two off 'cause of
Ué,
all
você não
the
quer ficar dentro do game? Você não quer perder sua vida? Se divorciar, esquecer que você tem filhos, esquecer que você tem que pagar a conta e ficar jogando o tempo todo?
Diablo 4, you're having a great time. And when you've reached all the goals and done the things that you think are really, really important, and you want to go like take a break to go play something else for a little while, that's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine. We do the same thing.
You don't fall behind,
But
yeah.
when a season rolls and there's new things for you to come check out, that's a great time to come back. Particularly if you had a good time before. That's exactly when you should come back and check out Diablo 4 fresh.
Okay, I'm out. Sorry.
Yeah, I'll be honest. When the next WoW expansion comes out, there's a non-zero chance that I'm going to play WoW for a while. But it's great to know there's a point that I can come back to Diablo 4 and everybody's on an even footing.
É. Ele falou justamente isso. Vai ser uma nova temporada do WoW. Ele tem uma chance dele voltar, mas é legal saber que ele pode voltar pro Diablo também fresh quando tiver uma nova temporada. Pergunta.
Two mics, guys. I'm very you have me in stereo. Can you say which cosmetics will be transferring?
Tá. Quais cosméticos serão transferidos?
So for instance, like for Diablo Immortal, we'll ask this specifically for Diablo Immortal, and then we'll talk about Diablo 4.
Tá, vai falar do Immortal depois do Diablo 4.
In regards to
Já tem data para nova temporada dia 20.
Cosmetics, like if you ended up buying a
O
cosmetic.
patch vai sair dia 18. Novos itens lendários, novos aspectos e novos únicos já vão tá valendo no Helm Eterno dia 18, mas na temporada nova só vai começar dia 20.
Hatred's Heritage will be available for the Blood Knight.
Oh, nice. Okay, cool. So going forward, there will be now new cosmetics available for the Blood Knight, just as they are for all the other classes in Immortal. And then I guess for D4, will cosmetics be transferring to seasons, and will they need to be reobtained? I know this was like a question that we get a lot from people in regards to transmogs, and if you salvage specific stuff, how does that work between characters from Eternal and Seasonal realms?
Yeah, I believe that's all transferring over with you when you go into the new season. And obviously, every cosmetic set that you're purchasing via the store and via the Battle Pass, that stuff also is going to be carrying over with you.
Yes, if you ever unlock
Peraí, não entendi.
your whole account has access to it forever is the current functionality.
Tá, então
I shouldn't say it that way. It sounds like we're going to change it.
Yeah,
That
don't
is
use
the
the word forever,
functionality.
ever.
tudo que você desbloqueou até agora vai ser carregado.
This from
Mas ficou meio confuso o que o Joe falou.
This is Nightmare Teleport was great, but why can't we just teleport right into dungeons rather than just to the entrance?
Yusuke Uramesh, não era? Do Yu Hakusho? Valeu, Yusuke, obrigado pelo follow.
It was another thing that we had talked about where it was community feedback that we had gotten, and the team jumped on it really quickly to implement it in a specific way. We have been seeing a lot of feedback in regards to players having to teleport outside of dungeons and kind of go through like a couple load screens. It was a quick, implementation from the team and everything. So I know it's something that we've been hearing from our side, and it's something that we're going to be looking at more here in the future.
Tá falando do teleporte das Nightmare Dungeons, é isso? Mas eu acho ok teleportar pro lado de fora da dungeon ao invés de teleportar pra dentro. Senão você vai ficar se fudendo lá pro Lightning Storm. A não ser que crie aquela bolha inicial em que você é imune e depois que você sair dela você não volta, né? Mas aí é mais implementação, pô.
To some popular characters from that franchise, very pretty vampire-ish people, but not vampires.
I think we discovered Adam's kink, by the way.
We can turn off Rod's mic now, so that's all we need to do. But yeah, was there any inspiration kind of thrown with the Blood Knight?
I think, when you're working with a tropic idea in fantasy like vampires, you take inspiration from all over. The spear thing puts us in mind of Vlad the Impaler. The aesthetic, you've already talked about some potential references, but I think for us is as much like what we take out as what we leave in. We don't want the Blood Knight to feel like a grab bag of all vampiric myths. They are very specifically grotesque, blood, shadow, nightly weapons.
Tá falando
oriented, and so there were things like
do Blood
turning into
Knight,
mist, like
que
turning
foi a
into wolf,
nova classe
etc.
liberada do
We said, hey, these
Diablo
need to be on
Immortal.
the table. And so in that
E a
regard,
inspiração por trás,
there's a lot of
que
familiar
óbvio pegou de
channeling, but there's also like a very
várias fontes de vampiro, mas eles querem
Awesome.
Everybody knows that it's necromancers that turn into mist.
tirar muita coisa disso.
Let's see. In regards to Diablo 4, we have. Will you guys be nerfing or buffing in the middle of seasons, or will you be making
Tá,
changes
Diablo
after
4.
the
Vai
seasons?
nerfar ou buffar no meio da season ou antes da
Oh, this is
season?
from Godic, by the way. So there you go.
Okay,
I just
so
wanted
this
to.
is a real person. Yes, this is a good question. So we made a number of adjustments during the preseason period to make sure that we're bringing some.
Tá, já fizeram ajustes agora na pre-season,
Performance-wise,
antes da
when
temporada.
we go into the season release, we do want to create structured moments in time that we're going to be talking about, I think, more.
Quando liberar a season, eles querem criar
We expect like buffs and nerfs to happen.
momentos no tempo aí mais estruturados em que vai ter uns ajustes.
The season is released, where we have like a better schedule, like
Já tinham falado isso.
talking about these things. We really want to try to reserve like
É exatamente, inspirado em vampiro, porém não é vampiro.
only like extreme outlier cases, and really, things were like really damaging the end game experience for a number of players. So we want to try to keep that more constrained, and we also want to have just fewer general like off cycle balance updates and things. So we're kind of keeping things more into this weekly cadence like we talked about.
Tá.
Yeah, things will be pretty stable throughout the course of the season, unless, if one of the malignant powers, I know I've joked about them being broken, but if the zone lights on fire when you use a malignant power, we're going to patch that. But
tipo, a princípio eles vão tentar deixar tudo estável, a não ser que, tipo, a casa comece a cair, tipo, com alguma coisa aí, graças ao conteúdo da season de Maligno. Aí, ó, o espaço do baú. Pergunta sobre o espaço do baú. Tá? Eles estão ouvindo, estão conversando sobre isso internamente. Cara, o sol tá batendo na minha cara aqui.
What you were able to do this, like you could be able to do like nightmare dungeons this quickly, but like the reality is like we are moving really quickly on this, and we're going to be trying to provide more space in the future, figuring out how
Tá, eles estão movendo rápido com isso, mas é frustrante ouvir ele falando isso, mas
gems and so
não vai ser agora, eles estão trabalhando nisso.
Part of materials in the future. So I know when that hits,
E que já foi dito também das gemas que vai virar parte dos materiais, né? Você vai ganhar, ao invés de pegar a gema, você vai pegar pó de gema e depois vai craftar a gema que você quer.
Jim, the Q guy, asked how much time between seasons. He still wants to level up his main. So in between seasons, obviously.
Quanto tempo entre as temporadas? Acho que já foi anunciado também, 4 meses.
Seasons lasting 3 months.
Não, 3 meses, vão ser 4 temporadas por ano.
Correct. Yeah. So
Sempre tem 12 semanas.
So you guys will hear like.
E aí, provavelmente vão ter alguns diazinhos entre o fim de uma temporada e início da outra, como tem acho que no Diablo 3, no Diablo 2, acho que tem também.
This one, I guess for Rod, are there any plans on new classes coming to Diablo 4? We've just heard about the Blood Knight, so they're
Tem novas algum plano de novas classes para o Diablo 4 e o Rod falou nada planejado a esse ponto.
So yeah, I think we're going to wrap it here for today.
Não sei como é, o baú é o mesmo para todas as classes que você criar, é o mesmo baú. Se você criar um novo personagem, ele acessa o mesmo baú.
The patch will be on July 18th. And then the actual season starts on July 20th. We do actually have 2 blogs, one on DiabloImmortal.com and one on Diablo4.com. They'll be going live either right now or immediately after this live stream. That'll have all the details and information that we just talked about here on the stream. Yeah, lots of stuff coming up here for Diablo.
Patch this afternoon.
Oh yes, and there's a patch this afternoon. You'll be seeing. Oh, I forgot. That's what I have to do immediately after the stream. I was trying to get out of it, guys.
Vai ter o patch 1.04.
Up on Diablo4.com. We have a patch article that will actually note, and we'll be updating people when that patch does.
Vamos ler. Já vamos ler o site aqui, vamos ver.
Download. It will be on all platforms. And yeah, lots of Diablo stuff coming up here in the next few weeks. Really excited. Happy Diablo family.
Yeah.
tons of stuff coming up. I know we will be rating 2 Diablo content creators immediately after this stream. One on Twitch, which is Barricade, and the other one on YouTube, which is Killswitch. So make sure
Boa,
to tune
dá.
into those guys.
Maneiro, vai já dar
Thanks for tuning in to the Diablo.
Vai direto pro Barricade com 81 mil pessoas, meu irmão. Você é louco. O Barricade é muito foda.
We hope you have a wonderful weekend.
Olha lá, vamos ver o Barricade um pouquinho, só pra vocês conhecerem também, quem não conhece. Porra, Barricade... Olha lá, ele tá com 200 pessoas. Vão ter 81 fucking mil pessoas vendo Barricade. Meu Deus do céu, você é louco. E ele virou, recentemente virou, quer dizer, antes do Diablo 4. Virou Diablo Partner, né? Parceiro do Diablo. Que é muito foda. Agora entendi porque é muito pouco. Ah, sim, aqui o pessoal tá reclamando que é muito pouco, porque se você usa os 4 baús para guardar a coisa da sua main class, quando você muda de classe, quer guardar alguma coisinha, já não tem mais. Tá. Vamos ver um pouquinho do Barricade e só pra ver como ele vai ficar nervoso recebendo 70 e tantas mil pessoas. Depois a gente faz um resumão aqui já pra fazer minhas anotações e a gente gravar um vídeo hoje à noite, hein? Camel Mount. Querem a montaria do camelo. Mas já tem. Não, não tem não. O pessoal faz de sacanagem. Ah, já caiu pra 45 mil pessoas. Pô, os caras podiam raidar imediatamente, né? Vacilo. Aí, ó. É agora? Que isso, mano? Não raidaram? Pô, os caras falaram pra ir e não foram? Vou mostrar aqui o Ed, velho. Acabou meu sub. Qual o valor passe da temporada? Ninguém falou. Ninguém falou. Cara, não entendi bem. O lance de começar a season, vamos ter a opção de pular a campanha? Na hora, os caras falando ficou meio confuso. Olha lá, ele é muito foda. Olha o que ele faz. É, tá falando do Chaco, que ninguém acha o Chaco. É muito foda, ele pega essas imagens aqui e sai daqui da parada. Ah lá, ele tem umas animações muito pica. Eu queria ter essas coisas aí também.
It's all stupid shit around here. Yeah, nothing too serious. Where's the new content though? A new gem for what reason? What's the new content? 70 plus. Give them a shot. I think that's what they're saying. Basically, they said this, right? Here's what I think they said. And they're great. You know, they're working their ass off, right? They said, guys, we've had 5 weeks. We've done a shit ton of updates to the game, and we want to do it the right way. And so they're asking for patience. They're asking for a little bit of that clean Heraldric time, right? The question is, are we going to give it to them? Right?
Tá. Vamos. Deixa eu ver aqui. Cara, não entendi bem o lance de começar a season. Vamos ter a opção de pular a campanha. Na hora os caras falando ficou meio confuso. Esse cara é muito ligado no 220. Às vezes dá uma ansiedade. Eu acho que você vai poder pular a campanha. Sim. Tanto que ele falou que o conteúdo de... deixa eu mudar pra cá. Só pra não ter distração. O conteúdo de Season, você já pode começar a fazer nível 1. Foi o que ele falou. Então, só que para isso você tem que ter terminado a campanha. Porque ele falou também que você não consegue fazer conteúdo de Season fora da campanha. Se você não terminar a campanha. Então, você vai poder pular a campanha sim. Pelo que eu entendi, tá? Vou até anotar aqui. Então vamos lá, vamos às notas aí. Para BR é mais caro. Para BR é mais. Será? Não, para BR, geralmente as coisas da Blizzard era até mais barato, pô. Tanto que eu moro aqui no Canadá, eu deixava a minha conta em reais, porque era mais barato pagar. Mas aí eu tive que transferir para cá quando teve algum update do Call of Duty e tinha que botar meu telefone. E aí eu não tinha mais telefone do Brasil. Será que vai ter como ganhar mais Paragon no boneco nível 100? Cara, acho que não. Não faz sentido, porque sei lá, tem todo um balanceamento aí que fica. Se bem que essa questão do maligno também. Mas acho que não. Tipo, isso deve vir com outros DLCs, tipo, agora você pode chegar a nível 110. Tipo, WoW, né? E aí, com o nível 110, você vai ganhar, sei lá, 10 níveis, vai ganhar 40 pontos de Paragon, você consegue mais um board. São 5 boards, depois de 50, faz sentido. Você consegue mais um board, entendeu? Então a cada 10 níveis você vai ter mais uma oportunidade de board. Eu acho que é mais ou menos assim que eles devem ir. Lançou um DLC, mais 10 níveis para você atingir, mais um board de Paragon. Quer dizer, mais 40 pontos e dá para você chegar em mais um board. E tá, então o que saiu? Fora de temporada, os baús de Helltide agora tem a chance de dropar único. Aqui na temporada, e vai ser patch dia 18 com novos únicos aspectos lendários. E lendários. Não sei se faz diferença o que ele falou de novos itens lendários ou novos aspectos lendários. Não sei exatamente qual a diferença que eles querem aí. O que mais saiu fora de temporada que eles falaram que vocês lembram? Acho que nada, né? De temporada. Tema maligno. A história é desse Invoker aí que eu não peguei bem o nome dele, mas que ele tá tentando cuidar desse curse aí que tá tomando conta de algumas criaturas, mas tá pedindo ajuda. Vai dropar esse scroll de amnésia que reseta tudo. Isso eu não sei se vai ser só da temporada, não deu para entender. E se você pagar o premium, né? O passe premium, só cosmético. E aí tem a questão do Smoldering Ash. Mostrar o que pode ser feito. Você pode ganhar XP. Tempo de elixir que eu vi ali. O resto eu não lembro de cabeça. Mas depois eu vou catar essas imagens. É isso. Depois eu vou ter que rever todo esse lance aí. Se tiver alguma coisa que eu não falei, vocês lembram aí, manda para mim lá no Discord. Vamos começar essa. Ah lá, é muito foda. Ele vai sair do portal ali atrás do Call Level. Quem tá acompanhando o Barricade aí. Eu vou ficar por aqui agora, mas mais tarde vou gravar o vídeo, trabalhar um pouquinho, melhorar esses esquemas aqui da live, que tá um tema antigo. Eu quero mudar pro tema de Diablo, que eu tô fazendo com o meu brother Shiri Nelson, tá me ajudando pra caceta. E quem sabe a gente já começa a mostrar isso amanhã. Beleza? Valeu, time. Até mais. Fui.